So last night I watched The Open House. It's a movie that was released on Netflix on the 19th of January, and this film looked great. From the trailer, I was kind of excited about it. It's a home invasion kind of movie. I like those kind of films. They can be creepy, they can be well done. But then we have this movie. I just want to warn you all, there is going to be spoilers for this movie. It is that bad. And I don't care. I just want to warn you about watching this film before you go and watch it and then regret it immediately. So The Open House is a movie surrounding a mother and her son moving to the country into her aunt's house after their husband is killed by a freak car accident, which is, by the way, very subtly explained in a kind of a memorial scene where there's just this random woman sat on a couch and she's like, Did you hear? Did you hear? It was caused by a heart attack. So you're immediately thinking, oh my god, was the husband killed by the bad guy of the movie? Did possibly the bad guy run over the husband? Or was there some malicious reason for this happening? And that's kind of seeded immediately. No. Seriously, I could have missed that. I could have literally missed that entire thing. But that is the main problem with the film right there. Okay? The main problem with this film is that it keeps feeding you possible reasons or possible plot points. This film does it so many times, and there's no payoff. Nothing goes anywhere. And this is the first film I think I've ever sat down with where I am sat at the end feeling like, okay, that's that then. There's literally nothing to this. It's literally just, that's it. Surprise! There's no explanation for anything. So throughout the film, you have multiple possible red herrings, including a woman who has Alzheimer's, which you find out later on, who says her husband died. She literally comes into a scene early on and she's very creepy, kind of like small town woman who knows everybody and is like, oh, it's sad being alone in the quiet here, and she's very daunting and creepy, and she mentions that her husband has died, and then later in the film she mentions that she's going to go back to see her husband, and that was a point thinking, oh, maybe the husband is the bad guy of this movie. Because the entire point of this film is that they move into their aunt's place, which is an open house. They are living here until the house is sold. So every Sunday, I think, they basically have to leave the house for the day. And everyone in their cat is allowed to walk around the house. So the idea is somebody is getting in during the open house and hiding there. But the only way that explains how they'd be able to hide for the entire time of this movie would be if they had lived there before and knew the house. Now, oddly enough, that woman that I previously mentioned lived in this house originally, and her husband would have lived there too. So, of course, you're thinking, oh, it's her husband. Obviously, he isn't dead. Obviously, she just made that up. Or she's in on this. Maybe the whole town is in on this. It gave me Hot Fuzz vibes. I was thinking that the open house was some cover-up for, like, this kind of cult or something. That would have been a way better story. That would have been incredible if they had come out right at the end and the open house was actually kind of like a secret kind of meeting for all these little town members. That would have been really cool, and that could have been a way better movie. But what we got is nothing. You see the open house person, whether there's two people for the open house. I know I'm not explaining this very well, but everything is hitting me right now, and I'm just thinking about this film and how stupid it is. So, you have two open house people, okay? You have this older woman and this young guy who you first meet in a jump scare, who is completely useless and acts like he's just robbed the place. Is there any explanation to those characters? Is there any other times you see them? No. You see the guy twice and you see the woman once. It doesn't make any sense. And there's one other character, okay? There's not many characters in this movie. You have the mum, who is okay, the acting's quite good. You have the son, who was in Goosebumps, and 13 Reasons Why. And you have the woman with Alzheimer's. You have a guy called Chris, who is probably my second favourite character because I like the actor, he seems pretty cool. And you have the two open house people, plus the murderer, who you never see the face of, okay? You never see the face. I'm not mentioning the father, because he's only in it for half a femtosecond, okay? So weird stuff starts happening around the house. Phones go missing. There's a certain song that was on when the father got killed at the start of the movie, which keeps being played back in the movie by the son, obviously reminiscing about his father. And that plays into it later as well. His glasses. By the way, there's a big focus on the son's glasses, because he has contacts in normally. And there's this giant focus on him having to wear glasses if he isn't wearing his contacts. And his glasses go missing at one point during the movie as well. And I knew immediately that was building up to something. They were laying the groundwork for something. And they do this multiple times in the movie, including a scene where they just focus on milk for about 10 seconds. There's a scene where a step breaks in the basement, and it's all jump scares, and it's all like, oh no! And does that go anywhere? No. No, it just goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. That doesn't ever come up again. They focus on it, I think, twice afterwards, and it isn't used once for a problematic scenario. It's just there. It's just a part of the house now. There's a creepy tunnel, which is used twice, I think, for a dream sequence, which is terrible. I will give credit, okay? I'm going to give some credit to this movie. Some of the shots are pretty good. The camera work is okay. There is a scene where the kid in this dream sequence goes downstairs into the basement, into the tunnels, and they're creepy tunnels, and his father is stood at the end all creepily. That looked good. That was a tense moment. That's well done. That is the only good positive thing, apart from that one song that they keep playing. I like the song, it's pretty good. That's it. Okay? There is nothing else in this movie that makes me want to ever recommend it to anyone, which is why I'm warning you here. So this weird guy keeps messing around with the stuff in the house. He turns off the thermostat a couple of times in one night. He's just like, on, off, and it's like, oh, is this guy a kid? What's going on here? He sets up the dinner table when they're out. There's a pretty glaring issue there because the sister apparently rings them to say someone's broke into the house. Okay, firstly, who told her that, and why aren't the police there immediately? That whole thing doesn't make any sense. So, when they get to the house, they find that there is an entire table made up with 3 seats, and there's this, like, lovely music playing, and it's all very creepy, and I thought, oh, maybe the killer, or the bad guy in this film, is an ex. Maybe it's an ex-stilted lover, who she dumped for the husband of the film. No, just forget that, that's not a thing. And then we get to the ending. The man finally does something, like, in terms of killing. He kills Chris. Poor Chris. He's dead. He was a wasted character. By the way, he was made to be a red herring as well. Looking into their house where they weren't there and being quite creepy in some scenes. Chris, lovely guy. No issue. No, he's just a red herring. As expected, let's be honest. So you have him dead, the son is knocked out outside, and the mum is upstairs, okay? And this guy climbs into her bed, and she thinks it's her son, and she goes to the bathroom, climbs back into bed, doesn't even look in that direction, which is just like, that's not realistic. You'd look and be like, oh, he's asleep, oh, that's nice. She then gets tortured by, bending fingers back. That's just horrible as it is. But the son, okay, the son wakes up, he goes upstairs, finds his mum, the guy's nowhere to be found. He then has to try and find a phone to call the emergency services, okay? He picks up the phone, and it says, no SIM card inserted. Yeah, last time I checked, phones could ring 911 without a SIM card. I thought that was a thing. I thought we got past the whole, oh, no signal, oh, low battery. It's a trope that needs to die, okay? It just needs to die. And then we come to the ending of the film. The son follows his mother down to the tunnel where the guy's taken her, and she then runs into his knife, which is just like, oh, well, she's dead. That was anticlimactic. And then instead, I thought this was going to be the moment that the son finally kicked some arse. You know, in all the good 80s movies where the hero would fight the bad guy and it would be epic. They'd probably die, but it would be cool, okay? What does the son do? He's like, nope! And he just legs it. He just legs it. But not before the bad guy very gently puts him onto the ground and takes out his contact lenses. It was the most weirdest scene. It's the only film I've ever seen a scene where the evil bad guy gently takes out the kid's contact lenses. I never thought that would be a thing. So the kid is practically blind. He's running through the forest, gets to a river, and he's sat there like, oh, I've escaped. Oh, I'm so happy and stuff. And then the bad guy just grabs him and cuts to black. Next thing we see is the kid dead. The last scene of the film is the bad guy driving, well, we assume it's the bad guy, driving his car, and it goes around a corner and it reveals the sign to another open house. It's always good in movies like this to have some form of twist. Maybe the bad guy was one of them. I had a feeling at one point it might even be the mother. That would have been cool. That would have been a cool twist. Maybe it was the son. That would have been a weird, awesome twist. The bad guy is just some crazy guy. He's just some unknown, random guy who is killing people. There's no backstory. There is nothing. I don't understand what they were thinking. This film was quite good. There was some good build-up to something that just didn't happen. It was like the worst thing ever. You were literally sat there, and it's just the feeling of tension just goes. I've never had that in a film before. That's The Open House. It's on Netflix. Don't watch it, please. Please don't. Just run. Run away from the terrible bad guy. Just don't ever watch this film, okay? I have explained it all to you and how bad it is. It's a waste of 90 minutes, quite literally. And that's unfortunate because I quite liked the premise. The idea of it seemed quite good, and then they completely botched it. Anyway, that's me. Thanks for watching, but until next time, tell me if you like movie reviews. I don't know, I might do this again, but until next time, it's me, out. Bye, guys.